I'm Jessica A. Ross, Mrs. Jam Good, and you just tuned into an uplifting course. This is a happiness activation called Cultivating Your Mind Field, where I take you into the truth that you have fertile ground as your mind space. And it is time for you to cultivate it. It's time for you to take care of it. And I'm going to give you tips and tricks and tools to make sure that you can regain the ownership of your mind field and really cultivate it. I'm excited because we're going to dive right in. Yay! Welcome in here. If you could, please leave a comment. Tell us who you are and where you're coming in from. Let's go. We're going to present this. All right, again, the title of this activation is called Cultivating Your Mind Field. Now, the purpose of this activation, because really it's about activating your mind, giving you a right now opportunity to tap in and be present with yourself. The objective is to make sure that we go through the idea of you owning your mind and we cultivate through tools for powerful mindset and for emotional reset. I want to make sure that you have what it is that you need to really take ownership of your mind space. So, again, I am Jessica A. Ross, Mrs. Jam Good. I'm your facilitator for today. I'm a transformational facilitator, a mindset coach, and my job is to really hold the space so you can transform your thinking, which will in turn transform your life. Let's begin. So, the welcome is just what I said. I have a company called JAMGOODLIVIng, and that is a company that focuses on creating spaces, products, and anything to really give you what you need. It's so exciting to me. Sometimes it just sits because I know what it's like to have a hard time, to have a mind that thinks about all the hard stuff, to be inundated with negative thinking. And I had to rewire my own brain. I had to take me through all the things that I teach through Jam Good Living to really reorient myself to life. Now, my base philosophy of Jam Good Living is that life is so jam good. And that's when you choose it to be, meaning that I put the onus back in your hands because you are the only one who can choose for yourself. It's you. And I want to be somebody that reminds you, that comes alongside and says, you got this, and that gives you tools to do just that. So again, welcome in. I'm super excited. We are really going to dive into the idea that your mind is a space that you can control. Now, Jam Good Living again is here to be a support to your health and wellness. And I do that through activations, courses, classes. We also have interviews. We do products. And that is the space that I love to be in. It's a space of supporting. You got this in life, and I'm just here to come alongside and support you as you do your life your way. Now, the first concept that we're going to dive into when it comes to your mind being fertile ground and cultivating your mind space is the fact that you need to own your mind. It's no one else's, it's only yours. Your mind is yours. Yes, I know. Your parents taught you, your grandparents taught you, your aunties, your uncles, your friends. There are a lot of people who have ideas about who you are, what you should do. All those things can be ideas, but nobody can actually plant in your mind field unless you take their ideas as seeds and plant them yourself. So, again, first step, ownership. Whose mind is it? You're right, it's your mind. Whose mind is it? Yes, you got this. It's your mind. So you have the job and the responsibility to take care of it. Have you ever seen like a wild place of earth? Trees, bushes, vines, all the things just overgrowing and just growing continuously. That is a sign of how abundant this earth is. And just an analogy of how abundant your mind is. Whatever you plant in your mind will grow, and it will grow abundantly. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And that's another sign that your mind needs to be cultivated. It needs to be curated. It needs to be intentionally thought about. So, the first thing that we can do after we own our mind is deweed our mind field. Now, the goal of this is to really get rid of mental clutter and reorganize empowering beliefs. And I say that because you can have disempowering beliefs, beliefs that weigh you down, beliefs that make your body feel all tight and everything like that. And then you can also have empowering ideas, ideas that feel like wings on your body or wind beneath your wings because you've already got them out flapping. Like this is something that we can actualize. Now, in order to get you into this mode, now I know we went right into it. Let's go ahead and do a little exercise. I want to show you how powerful you are. You ready? I'm so glad you are. What we're going to do first is find yourself in your seat. Feel the seat underneath you, like give your weight to it. If you can and can feel the ground with your feet, go ahead and put your feet on the ground. Find them also being supported by the ground. If you have arms on your chair, let your arms rest. If not, put them on your lap. And I want you to just sit there for a second. Feel yourself. There's a buzzing inside you, right? Because you're bringing your presence into you now. And because we're doing that, our focus is starting to come right into our center and our sphere of actual control. Because all we can control in this moment is ourself, is our thinking, is how we come to this moment energy wise, is how we come to this moment thought wise, right? All we can control right here. And since we're here and feeling, I want us to take some deep breaths together. We're going to do 4. I'm going to count you into breathing in. You're going to breathe into your stomach. You're going to breathe up to your chest. And then at that point, we're going to hold it for 4 to 6 seconds. Then we're going to let it out. On the last and 4th breath, we're going to let it out with some noise. Even if you want to wiggle or just let some energy release through movement, we're going to do that. Okay. So again, we're taking 4 deep breaths into your belly, up your chest, holding it. Then we're going to let it release. You ready? All right, let's go. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Nice. Breathe in again to your tummy. Up to your shoulders and hold it. And breathe out. 2 more. Final one. We're using some noise. Breathe in. Up. And hold. Breathe out. All right, last one. Remember, we're making noise. Breathe in. Hold it. And breathe out. All right. As you shook out your body, as you made that last sound, how do you feel? Do you feel your feeling of your body? I know I said feeling 3 times, but do you feel your feeling of your feeling in your body? Do you notice that? Do you register it? Did that breath start creating heat in your body? Did it make you concentrate on nothing but breathing because you couldn't think about what's happening tomorrow or what you're about to do next? Breath is one of the things that I'm going to ask us to anchor ourselves into this moment with. If anything that I'm saying is challenging your mind, you feel a little overwhelmed, go back to your breath. Go back to your breathing. Go back to the center of power. Now, what we just did right there was we gave ourselves a moment to be, just to be. We didn't call for ourselves anything other than to breathe. Now, I will remind you that right now, even as we're talking, you're breathing. Your body naturally breathes. That's the thing that keeps you alive. You can think about it or you can't, and it still will breathe. Now, that's the beauty of life and its ability to give us analogy upon analogy upon analogy. So just like the ground that we have in your brain, your fertile ground that you have in your mind will continue to grow, whether or not you're conscious of it, whether or not you're thinking about it. When you decide to take conscious breaths, or in this term, conscious action towards cultivating the mind that you want, You are able to control what it is that you are putting in your mind space, just like we're able to control our breathing. You have what it takes already in you. And I just want to remind you of your superpower. Just right then, with our breathing, we were able to quiet our mind, give ourselves a little break, and be present with ourselves in the moment. You just gave yourself a gift. You got closer to yourself, got closer in that circle of control that you actually have. And I'm super excited for us to dive in. Okay, now that we've gotten our breath, we're present here. Now we're going to talk about the idea of de-weeding your mind. Now, there are so many things about your mind space that can be talked about. But in this, we're going to narrow it down to thinking about ideas that lift you versus ideas that hold you down. Again, the empowering thoughts versus the disempowering thoughts. That's what this segment is really going to focus on. Now, giving yourself the idea and the analogy that your mind is fertile ground. Now, that means that from birth, you were given a minefield that only you could navigate, only you could plant things in. Now, again, as a child, you do have caretakers like your parents or the grown-ups around you that show you how to garden. They show you how to plant seeds by the things that they do on repeat, the ideas that they tell you, the answers to the why questions that you've asked. All of those things are put into your mind field after you accept them as true. Now, when we de-weed our mind and we take ownership of our field, that's when we know we have the responsibility to either take what people say, plant it, grow it, nurture it, make sure it's a thing that comes to life, or allow it to fall on hard ground because you've already made a decision about who you are. And what they say has nothing to do with you. These are things that you can decide, but that's after you own your field. You got to take responsibility for it. Okay. Now, another thing in owning your field is looking at your life and seeing what has come to be. When we look at our lives, we will see that there are things that we're experiencing because of thoughts that we have thought. Okay. And because we can recognize the correlation between the life we live and the thoughts we have, now we get to recognize whether or not a thought is a weed or a flower that we've decided that we want to place there. Okay. That's when we recognize self-talk, whether it's negative or positive. When you wake up in the morning, are you like, yes, God just gave me another day? Are you like, oh, what do I have to do today? That's the beginning of how you're cultivating your field from the beginning of the day. When you recognize that you have thoughts that are weeds instead of trees of fruit or plants of prettiness, that is when you get to start envisioning what it would be like if they were not there. And that's the next step. After you've recognized, oh, you got some weeds, envision what a weedless field would look like. What would that look like for you? Not having any weeds, imagining a clear space, rows and rows of exactly what you want in life to be, rows and rows of a clear mental space, knowing that you have room for new thoughts, knowing that you have firm and secure positive self-thought. All of that is within your ability to control, because whose field is it? Whose mind space is it? Yes, yours. It's yours. So that means you get to dictate what it is that you feel like is a vision of your mind weedless. No weeds, no negative thoughts, no time for anything but thoughts that give you life, that fill you up. And once you recognize that you have some weeds and then you visioned a weedless field, now it's time to actually shift those perspectives. Okay, that's the de-weeding part. Now, there is one tool that I know that a lot of people use for de-weeding, and it's like a hoe. It's that three-prong thing that you go into the ground and then you can lift up the weeds and you can get the roots and everything. So there's nothing left, right? Now, the hoe for me is having an honest opinion. Have honesty about where you are. That is a weed. It needs to come out. Be honest about it. Be optimistic about what it is that weed can be replaced with, or be grateful or optimistic about what that weed showed you. Now that we've gotten it out, there is now deep earth where we can plant something new. So the E on the hoe would be excited about what's to come. When you start cultivating this feeling of, oh yes, this is going to change. Oh yes, this is going to be good. You can shift your perspective while de-weeding a thought that no longer serves you. It leaves room now for you to plant a new belief. Now, all of those things are a part of the idea of de-weeding your mind, of taking ownership of this space that you have to think, to process, to perceive, to take in. And you are intentionally making the steps towards what you want. You own it. It's yours. You recognize what are weeds and what aren't. Because, like, you don't want to go in, if you got tulips and you have decided that tulips are your favorite flower, you don't want to go in and pull those up with your hoe. You want to make sure that you acknowledge that's a weed. This is a plant I decided. That's a weed. This is the tree that I wanted. All of that is a part of you recognizing the self-talk that you have. And is it positive or negative? After we've recognized it and we can see, okay, I like trees like that. I don't want that anymore. Now we just envision. Give yourself the time, the idea of what it is that you would actually like. This is sometimes, if you have a faith that goes beyond yourself, where you can sit still, get quiet, and tune into the divinity that is inside. And you get a vision of what your field would be like with no weeds. A field of flourishing flowers and shade-bearing trees. Tap into the vision that God has given you. Again, you are a divine energy of light and love. Whether or not you have a belief of something beyond yourself, you are energetic. That's why when we breathed earlier, we could calm ourselves, because we're energy. We're always moving. And in this place, you can visualize what your field would look like, fully in bliss, abundantly giving you everything that you want. And you can do that by shifting your perspectives. Now, one of the things that I love when I deal with shifting my perspective is I always put a little movement into it. Now, again, we will be getting into specific tips and tricks that you can use to help, but movement beyond breath is like the other thing. So I would breathe and then give me a little shimmy. This gives your ideas an opportunity to shuffle around and get settled into you. And it also gives you an idea to really be present with your body. So you're not so caught up in this thing that you need work on. When you're in your body and you're feeling some type of way, if you can move, that's why kids do temper tantrums. They throw their body around, because the energy of whatever they're feeling just can't get stuck. It can't get stuck in your mind field. So they're moving it out, flailing, doing all the things. We can intentionally move. We could do a little happy dance. We could dance in the silver lining that we found. We can even just shake out our hands when we're running to think about something different than we have right now. And in that same vein, I would love for us to do a quick little grounding stretch. Now, this is an idea that can, if you're sitting, you could do in your chair. If you're willing to stand up, go ahead and get a stand in. And what we're going to do is the idea of kind of clearing out our field. Take your hands and move them from side to side. We are clearing out our field. We are noticing everything there. We're taking in all that we have, and we're just swiping. Now, when we add movement to what we do, what happens is our brain body has to figure out a different way to connect. Because how we were thinking before, now that we've put movement to it, we got a link, because our mind and body have to be in the same vein in order for everything to work, right? So anytime you put any movement into intentional thought, that gets that movement even deeper in you, and it allows for you to control what it is that you're thinking about at that moment. Because again, I can intentionally move my body, be connected with my body, and then I can, from that point, choose a different thought. I can choose a different perspective. I could find the silver lining and say, hey, that's what I'm going to be in now. Okay. So hopefully that movement, if you're standing, you stretched a little bit. If you're sitting, try to go as far over as you can, as far to the other side as you can. You should feel your spine twist a little bit. You should have some heat rising. Again, we're electromagnetic beings. When we add movement to our life and our body, that gives us energy from a different way. And this can be intentional. It's all intentional when you decide to cultivate your mind field. Now, following that exercise, I really want to give you the opportunity to answer questions because I am a firm believer that self reflection creates an opportunity for you to be in a deeper relationship with self. Now, what's the most important relationship you'll ever have? Yeah, the one you have with you. Because you're the only one from day one to day end that will be with you, in you, within you, for you, or against you. But you get to decide. You get to choose. That is your choice. So, for this question, as we get deeper into our relationship with self, how would you like to interact with your mind daily? How would you like it? How would you like to have a relationship with your mind? What would that relationship be like? If your mind was a person, how do you want to talk to it? Do you want to have standing dates with it? This is what you get to decide. So again, the question is how would you like to interact with your mind daily? Take some time to think about it now. Pause this course, whatever you need to do, but dive into that question. And for a journal prompt that you can have in your reflection time outside of this course is to write down thoughts that you're ready to release. I'm not going to have you do it now because that can make your body really tight and we've just loosened it up, okay? But later on, in your appointment with yourself, in your time that you spend with you, please write down at least 5 thoughts that you are ready to get rid of. And in a safe way, very safe, please be very safe. Burn it, rip it, put water on it, smash it, turn it into a ball, throw it. Do something that shows in a physical way that you are done with that thought. I love to burn it in a safe way, in a very safe way, which could mean a metal bowl surrounded by water, the paper in there, put it on fire. Somewhere safe though, please. Okay. Now, I bet even thinking about that assignment, your body started to get a little excited because the body knows that rituals, things outside of itself, give it hints and it gives it signs that something's new, something's changing. That is going to be a sign that your body is ready to release those old thoughts and your mind is ready for new ones to be planted. All right, let's go to the next slide. Now, this one is really cool because to me, after you've owned your field, you've noticed the thoughts that you no longer want to be in there, and you're visualizing what this would look like if you took full control and decided that your life was so jam good. Now we need to plot and plow. Now, plotting and plowing are usual words that we hear in life. You know, plot could be how the movie goes. Plow could be the action of taking up land so that we can actually have places to plant seeds. Yes, this is the same thing. Plotting is taking that visualization to the next step. Now that we've kind of visualized, we've thought about what it could be like to have a mind of positive growth, a mind of positive seed thought. We've now said, hey, I want to live a life that my mind feels good about itself. We can take that idea and get even more clear about what our field would look like. Now, in the plotting idea, it is really so important to write stuff down. or to keep some kind of document. Like I know some people, they can text or type and it's the same kind of process that some people has as writing. I'm a writer. I need to write it down and I need to have like 8 different handwritings depending on what I'm writing to get it out. This is the step where you actually take a look at. If I'm going to have a list of thoughts that I have on repeat, a list of seeds that I'm going to plant in my field, what are they going to be? What are they going to be? What am I going to think about me? What am I going to say to myself on a regular basis? What am I going to put in my mind field because I know it's fertile ground and it's going to yield back to me abundantly? What am I going to plant there? And so we write it down plainly and clearly. You can do this in I'm so happy and grateful statements, and then you say what it is that you're happy and grateful about. You can do it in a quality list. You can think about the fact that you are mindful, you are resourceful. You can think those things, but write them down. Create your mind field by plotting out. If this part of your field is this about myself, and this part of my field is this and how I relate to others, and this part of my field is this and how I relate to life itself, create what you plant in each of those fields. Now, you know that I am someone who believes in movement as a way of setting things into your body. Now, again, I have a bachelor's of science in theater, performance study, dance, communication, and marketing. So I live for the stage. But I do know that movement is neurological, not just theatrical. Movement does something to our brain and our bodies because our brain and our bodies have to be a part of the movement. Once you've plotted out that vision of your mind field, walk it out. Walk out what that would look like. Read that list. Walk and talk it out loud. Feel how it feels on your body. You could do that now. You could take time, pause, come back to this. Or you can make this a part of your journaling time with yourself. But I do recommend that as you get down to the real vision of what it is that you like in your mind field, that you put a little movement with it. Walk around, talk it out. Like if you're on the phone with somebody and you like take laps around your coffee table or your dining room table, do that same thing, but just reading your vision to yourself, envisioning what it is that you have, that you're going to give yourself. Because again, whose mind is it? Whose field is it? It's your mind. It's your field. And you get to cultivate your mind field. Now, after we've gotten through plotting and we've said, I want this type of life, I want these type of thoughts, now it's time to plow, which means we do the actual work. We take the vision and we make it plain on the field itself. I have some examples here of some of the plowing that I know that I've had to do in order to reorganize my life, in order to actually get some fruit-bearing trees instead of ones that are full of weeds. I've needed to do therapy. I track my thinking. Every morning, I have an audio of myself talking about the vision that I have for me. Plowing is the action put behind that vision that you have. Because yes, we have a vision, and hopefully you set with divine and you got really clear about what it is that could truly come from you and only you onto this mind field so that your life can be what you live. Now we are putting into action things that will help us get those seeds deeper into the ground. We are plowing up this ground. And we could do it through therapy on a regular basis, having someone else ask us questions so that we can have the conversation with ourselves out loud, tracking our thoughts, really diving into, hey, this thought felt bad. Let me catch that. This feels so good. Let me add it. Let me milk it. Let me get everything I can from it. Right? And one of the things that I have come up with as like an acronym to help me is literally the acronym HELP. H is for habits, E is for environment, L is for learning, P is for patience. That last one's tough because right now, I wish I could microwave my life and get to the end result. Give me the end. Give me that big old tree that can provide shades for me and my family. It's not it though, because everything takes its time to grow. And so it's your habits that can stack on top of themselves to make you more the you that you want to be. So if we have now visioned a life where I am on stage, because that's one of my visions that I have, right? And one of the plowing that I do, the plowing methods that I do is I track my thoughts and start creating, you know, paradigms and frameworks to kind of work through those things. Something that could help me speak, right? One of the things that I would do to help me would be having a habit of practicing speaking. Whether that's me doing courses like we're doing now. Thank you guys so much for being here. Or it's me in front of the mirror practicing. It's me doing the jobs that I get hired and asking myself afterwards, what could I have done better? What will I do next time? Then the E, especially thinking about me being a speaker as the vision that I've had, how I can plow that is be in environments that support me speaking, whether that's coming into a speakers community. That is one of the environments that I can be in, whether it's going to places where I know that there's stages available for me to speak and practice on anytime I want. The environment can also be the group of people that you have around you that support you. I was talking to my mom today about one of the speeches that I did this weekend, and she asked me, well, how did it go? Having an environment that supports you could be people, could be things, the environment. So one of the other things that would be a tool that I can help me with is having an environment where my speaking is welcome. So community groups, organizations that are looking for speakers, environment. Now, another thing that can help me after the habits and environment is the learning. Forever be learning. Learn techniques, learn ways of doing it, learn by practicing, learn by failing, writing down what you failed at, because failure is really like a quote thing. Because do you really fail when you're not done? No, you just get another chance at it. Did you do as well as you thought you would? Maybe not, but you get another turn because you're not done, right? So failing is one of those things. But what happens is you learn from those lessons. You learn, actually, I should set my, okay, because I'll give you an example. There was this speech that I was asked to do, and I'm super excited about it. It was on a stage. It was really in front of people. And I'm like, all right, if I do this, I should record myself so I can watch it back, like an athlete watches their tape. But I was so excited about, getting the behind the scenes and stuff like that. I didn't place my DJI out so that I could actually get me to record it. I had it in my hand. That didn't really help because the angle of the speech for like the first 5 minutes was up my nose. But I learned that what I would want to do is actually just take a moment and be like, all right, everybody, while I get set up, look, I'm going to get footage of me doing this. I'm going to set this there because I can control the room while I'm on the stage. I learned that from that experience. No more up the nose shots because I have learned. And the last thing in helping me help me after the habits, the environment, and the learning is the patience. I know. Because I could put something in the microwave and it'd be hot a minute and a half later. But I can't always put a thought in the ground of my mind and tomorrow it yield the tree. It might not even for months yield one of those little green things that come up. Patience. Giving yourself an opportunity to give yourself time and to believe. And in patience, the real belief is I am exactly where I need to be. Right now is the perfect time for what I have right now. And because I know I've been planting seeds, I know they're going to come up. My mind is fertile ground and so is yours. Whatever we plant will come up. So the patient part is just having the understood belief that it's going to come to pass. And if it hasn't happened right now, it's not right now's come to pass. It is an eventual come to pass. That's the patient part. I get it. I know. I get it. I know. Because what? I get it. But when we have habits and an environment and we constantly are looking to learn, the patience isn't something we have to do without doing anything. We don't have to just sit and wait. We can actually be in the method of life and living in our patience. We could be learning. We could be enhancing our environments, getting a light for speaking, going to group therapy to add on to your therapy. Anything that we can do to kind of help ourselves out. We can help ourselves help ourselves. And of course, movement helps get this into you. I would love for you to think about a plow dance, a dance that you can break into anytime you know you're trying to get a new thought embedded in you. Okay? Now, make it fun, make it easy. So, the plow can be like that kind of plow. It can be like, raising up the ground, whatever it is, some kind of movement. Because again, movement is one of those things that I have found can release your mind from what it was thinking and can allow for your ground to be softened so it can have a new thought be planted in it. So find a dance. Pause me now. Think of something. You can't get it wrong. It's your dance. Whose mind is it? Yes. Do your dance. Whatever. Move a little. It could be a slight shimmy. Whatever it is. Something to show your mind, I'm taking this in. I'm pushing this down. I'm getting this into my body. And after you do your movement, let's think about this question. If every word that you said to a loved one was a seed, what type of things would you say? Yeah. If you knew that what you said would be planted in someone else's mind as an inevitable thing to come to pass, what would you say? It's a good question, right? And in your reflection time, I would love for you to really reflect on a time when you plotted, took action, and saw success. Yes, you have been doing this. Whether or not you had it in the same plot and plow words, because yes, I am using this analogy of your mind being fertile ground, but you have thought things, made action towards things, and then lived the result of the things you took action towards. That is a real thing because you're not here without that being the case. So take note. I would love you to write this down in your journal time. Reflect on the time when you've plotted. So take what you've plotted, write that down. Take the actions that you did after you plotted, write those down. And then write what you saw as the success of it. Write that down. Take stock and inventory of you because your mind is fertile ground and it's time for you to cultivate your mind field. Now, this one is also really cool to me in terms of the 4 principles that I teach of de-weeding your mind, plotting and plowing. The seed is in the tree, and then caretaking and maintenance. Your seed contains everything you need already. Let's look at this image here. This seed is the seed of that tree. Now, it's not the actual seed of that tree because that tree is now a tree and no longer a seed. But in the seed is the tree. From its inception of seedness, it has all the branches it will ever have, all the roots it will ever have. It has the material for all the things being an inevitable happening. Now, of course, it mixes with the dirt and the sun and all the things that add to its ability to grow. But in the seed is the tree. The goal of this is really for you to see the greatness inside you and nurture it with intention. Close your eyes for me real quick. Thank you. I want you to think. Again, let your body be in your chair. And I want you to think about an acorn. It's itty bitty, right? Really little. You can kind of hold it in the center of your hand. You can pinch it with 2 fingers. And now I'd like you to think about an oak tree, like one of the big ones that has probably been here for 40, 50 years. One of those ones that if you were at a park, you want to go and put your picnic blanket underneath it. You get that vision in your head? How big of an oak tree could possibly be from just that little bitty seed. All right, you can open your eyes. That visioning was just to remind you that something so itty bitty will eventually become something so grand because the acorn is an oak tree. The seed that you plant of thoughts, of ideas, those seeds already have everything it needs to be a full blown idea. So, my want to be on stage, I already have all the things I need to be on stage, to be on many stages, multiple stages, stages that have 20, 40, 50,000 people connected to it already. Because the seed of the idea of me being a speaker has everything that it needs already. Now, this is a exciting element because as I'm taking the analogy of your mind being fertile ground, and we've already kind of cultivated what we want in our mind space. We've envisioned it. We've taken out things we don't want to be there anymore. And we've supported our mind field with habits, environments, learning, and patience that can help us be aware and intentional about how we treat our mind field. Now, I want you to think about the result of your growth in your field. So let's draw a tree. Big old trunk. Make that trunk you, because you're the thing that has to support it all. And then think about the branches being like elements or aspects of your life. And this can be something that allows you to think about maybe your relationships, your health, your career, your spirituality, your relationship with your business, your relationship with your children. Put those things on the branches to where they kind of represent different elements of your life like this. And I want you to start dropping some elements, maybe keywords that you would like those things to feel like. So your relationships with yourself and with others, they feel safe? Do they feel comforting? Do they feel inspiring? Do they feel adventurous? Your health, do you feel whole? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel strong? Your career, do you feel like you're in the right place at the right time doing the right thing? Do you feel like you, all the things? And this is what you like, not necessarily what you have right now, what you like. Because again, I am here to remind you that you have control within your spirit control, which is you and how you think. That's it. All we control. It's a itty bitty bit. Me and how I think, you and how you think. That's all we control. So let's think about what we'd like these elements to be. If you need more time, please go ahead and pause this. And I think there could be a 7-minute timer, no more than 7 minutes, because you start getting too deep in your thoughts. 7-minute timer to really draw out what you like your life to be if it was a big old oak tree. And then I want you to draw a little circle and say everything is already in there. All of what you just written is in that little seed of a positive thought that you can plant in your mind field. Okay. So again, movement is a large part of what I do because I know that our brain and our bodies need to move. We need to move. We got to tell our neurological system, it's okay. It's all right. We're shifting, but we're good. So I would like you to assign a gesture to each branch so that you can embody that growth. So if my health gesture is this, every time I think of health, I go, we got this. If my career gesture is this, That's my gesture. And as you see, when you give yourself these motions and these feelings, your body works with you. It amplifies that feeling. It gives you even more because your body is an energetic thing and like attracts like. And any feeling that we can put on ourselves, we can get from ourselves because we can cultivate it, right? So again, assign a gesture per branch and that will become like a dance move that you can do. So if I do this and then I have something like this, whatever the movement is, it becomes like a little dance that you can maybe do when you wake up in the morning to get yourself remembering that your mind is fertile ground and you get to cultivate your mind field. Yeah. Now, another thing that I do know, that movement is very important. It is so important. Movement is so important. But guess what? Because we live in this world that yes is the only answer, silence is also so important. Stillness is also so important. Whenever you think about the seeds that you're planting, the life that you want to live, get still and get silent to place yourself in this present moment. You can use the breathing that we did earlier. You can even shimmy yourself into stillness. Whatever you need to do to kind of ground you, like you're planting you in your own mind field. That'll give you an opportunity to really expand on those feelings. So I would say do the movement gesture dance and give yourself 3 or 5 minutes of silence, stillness, being with you, grounding all those energies that you just put into your body because of what you've already visioned for yourself. Now, here's a group question. If you got everything you wanted, how would you maintain it and your peace? Mm-hmm. Because I totally believe that you can get everything you want. Everything. Especially if you're willing to plow for it, work for it. No, it's yours. So if you got everything you wanted, how would you maintain it and your peace? And for your journal prompting, again, pause it if you need to, or do this at a later time. Have this be something that you actually work over a week or so. Write 7 emotions that you would feel with your life tree fully grown. So the image of all those branches, like you like them, with words that you know really fit what you want. How would it feel? Just give me 7 emotions. I know you'll probably overflow with more. Now you can give yourself more. 7 is like the minimum. So if you can get to 7, let's get it. If you can get to 17, go get it. Go get it. Write as many emotions that really tap into what it would feel like if your tree was fully grown. If your life tree that you just thought about with all those branches was fully grown. What would that feel like? All right. Now, I asked you that question kind of preemptively because I wanted you to start thinking about maintaining your life because that's a thing. Oh, and this is a great time to get some water. We've been going through a lot. We've been in our minds. Hydration is very helpful. Now, this is the final segment that we're going to talk about in the Cultivating Your Mind Field Happiness Activation. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. As your transformational facilitator, I love the idea that I can hold space that you can transform yourself within. And one of the things that's going to happen after you change and transform your life and transform your thinking is you're going to have to take care and maintain it. So caretaking and maintenance is about building the habits that sustain your happiness and peace. How you help you. Using those same ideas to help yourself, to manage your habits, your environment, your learning, and your patience. I also need you to know that because you own this mind field, you are the one responsible for taking care of that field. You are the one responsible for maintaining it. So taking care is one thing and maintenance is another. So for me, I want to just go into the difference of those two real quick. Caring for or caretaking is the nurturing of a thing. So that is when you are uh, doing what you can to nurture the environment around the plants that you've planted, around the actions that you know you need to take. So that could be something like setting out your clothes in the morning because you know you need a habit of working out, nurturing that habit by putting out your clothes the night before so you don't have to think about it in the morning. That's a thing. Now, maintaining is sustaining a thing. So if caretaking is kind of nurturing that habit, and say we're doing the health habit, so now sustaining the health habit would be to maybe have a class that you go to on a regular basis. So now you get your gym clothes out the night before, wake up, it's easy, and you go to a class that helps you sustain it. A little dance class or something like that, or a weight working class, you have a certain routine that you have that maintains that. Now, both of them are essential. You can't do one without the other. All of that is about creating an atmosphere around what it is that you're working on to caretake and maintain so that the end result, because again, your mind is going to grow regardless, but because we're going to caretake and maintenance, it's going to grow intentionally. It's going to have a focused, intentional growth because you're caring and maintaining your mind field. Now, one of the things that I know that helps is having habits as rituals. So we talked about habits in the help, the habit, environment, learning, and patience. Now we're going to do just a little bit more on the habits because habits can become routine, but when we ritualize them, when we give them the idea that they are actually propelling us into the next thing, they are actually supporting us into the next life. Now, I will give you my definition of ritual. Rituals are standout occurrences that transform and transition from one state to another. Okay, so you have like a ritual of a bar mitzvah or a quinceañera or a ritual of jumping over the broom if you get married. Like those are rituals that symbolize a transition from one place to another. Now, if we can make our habits rituals where every day when I make my bed first thing, I'm like, yes, this is transforming me into a person who does it right now, or who transforming me from a person who might not do it now and may do it later to a person who does it right now. When we can allow our habits to be rituals, we look at them to transform ourselves. The habits now become deeper and a part of our movement forward. Now, I did talk to you about tips and tricks to help you really caretake and maintain your own mind field. I have 5 that I go to all the time, and they're free. They don't ask for you to pay anybody, they don't ask for anything but you to be present with yourself. Are you ready to dive into them? I know we've been doing a lot of learning. Oh man, but this is so great because you are positioning yourself to be in charge of your mind field, which is exactly what you are. Because whose mind is it? Whose field is it? And it is fertile ground. I promise you that. So, the first thing we did first off, when we first started, we got into breathing. Breathing calms and resets you. So, taking intentional breathing, some people go so they can focus in on their breathing. Tons of work. Like there's a whole world of breathing techniques all in of it itself. And I actually may add on some breathing techniques and we can actually do some breathing on an add-on that we can do. But I want you to know that your breath is with you always. And think about it. Since the first time we breathed to this time, you hadn't actually thought about breathing. You've just been breathing, meaning that our body automatically does this thing. And if we intentionally take onus of our breathing at any moment, we are now focused and present with the essence of what keeps us alive. So breathe, baby, breathe. You got this. And breathing can help you remember you got this. You know the next one. Movement. Movement. I'm a mover, and I believe that movement helps cement things into us. It helps us anchor into whatever we're doing because movement gives our body an opportunity to just be and exist. Maybe our mind is connected, maybe our mind is shut off for a second. Either way, we're into ourselves, which is present with ourselves, which is the most important thing you can give yourself. Presence with you. Because right now, this moment is all we have. And if you're present with yourself right now at this moment, you're giving yourself a prize. That's why it's called the present movement. And what it does is it allows your energy to flow. So after you breathe and reset and calm down, now you can direct energy in any way you want because movement allows you to do just that. The third tip and trick that I go for is called a sunspot. Okay. Now, a sunspot could literally mean go outside, get you in the sun, find a spot. That's one of the things that sunspot can mean. But I truly mean things that light you up, that warm you up. Any person, place, or thing that you can go to and instantly feel better, go check them out. That's a sunspot. If you have a third space like I do for the gathering spot, go there. I know for a fact when I get there, the concierge, we're going to say hi. I'm going to get some kind of compliment and a hug. Boom, sunspot. I know that I can go there and be lightened. I can lift myself by being in that atmosphere. I got certain friends that I can call instantly and we kiki, we laugh, we do. That's an instant sunspot. I would love for you to kind of write a list of 5 sunspots if you could. 5 things, people, places, or ideas that light you up. One of the other sunspots that I use is actually an activity book that I've created called Happily Ever After Now. And it's an activity book that challenges you to write, to go outside, to draw, to color, to doodle. And it challenges your mind to take inventory of where you are now and at the end. And it also gives you different quotes to kind of inspire a different thought. But it's an activity book that really gets you to be with you. And so for me, that's a sunspot. I use that as one of my tools to kind of be cool at any moment. Sometimes I pull it out because there's a lot going on back here that I can't really settle. And it has a lot to do with things that are out of my control. But if I sit down with my Happily Ever After Now activity book, all I'm doing is that for that moment. Everything else clears out. And then I'm writing, drawing, coloring, doing something fun. So sunspots. Write out 5, and you could put my Happily Ever After Now activity book on there if you like. The next one is writing, which is also why the Happily Ever After Now works because it also gives you opportunities and different prompts to write. Writing, like I said, I do this. Some people need to do this. You can even do this as like a voice note situation. Just getting your thoughts out and allowing them to flow. Write, share, do. Because what that does is it gives you mental clarity and it also allows for you to kind of see what you're thinking. It takes stock of what it is that you've thought, what it is that you're thinking right now. And you get an opportunity to say, I don't like that thought, or I think that thought could be morphed into this. Any of those things can really give you, again, a control of what you control, the controllables, you and how you think. And the 5th and final thing for this, now, of course, there are hundreds of things that you can do to kind of anchor in your happiness, to give you the opportunity to maintain and caretake your mind field. But these 5 are 5 that I have vetted. I know for a fact they work. And the 5th one is one that could be something you have to grow to if you don't already talk to yourself nice. Speak life into yourself. Speaking life is affirmations or uplifting language. I did that. Good job. Yay! Anything that allows your mind to, in this present moment, be grateful, be happy, understand that you are doing exactly what you need. Positive self-thought is all about you giving yourself an opportunity to see the goodness that you can look to, that you can feel for. But speaking life into yourself really gives you and you that relationship. Think about it. When somebody else is talking to you nicely, Even if your love language isn't words of affirmation, doesn't that make you look at them a little nicer? Like, dang, they noticed. Yes, you see. Just imagine if that was you doing that for you. That close relationship with self will be even deeper, even closer, because now you talk nice to you. Now you're kind to you. Now you're the one who you look for to uplift you. That's a part of it. So remember, we could breathe, take in any breath, any type of way, but intentionally. That calms your minds and starts a brand new day from that moment. Then we move, do a little movement. Mine is a shimmy. I love that for sure. And then we get sunspots, anything that can lighten up your day, brighten up your mind, and give you just something that makes you smile. Then we have writing it down. You can use my activity book or any journal, anything that just gives you an idea of your own thinking so you can see it, you can examine it, you can look at it, and you can get over it if you need to, or burn it safely if you'd like. And the fifth and final thing is speaking life to you. You're the only one. Whose field is it? Yes. Whose mind is it? Yes. You're the only one. So speak nice. Our final good question. What's one thing you can do to nurture your vision daily? Now, the vision I'm talking about is that field that is growing full of ideas and seeds that you've planted intentionally. What's one thing you can do to nurture your vision daily? Okay. So, this journal prompt is one that I think is very helpful because a morning routine and a night routine help me. If I don't have a certain wind down time, my mind is up for hours. And if I don't have a certain wake up time, I don't feel like I've done enough to kind of own the day. So I would love for you to create a morning and a night routine with at least 4 actions of how and how it will feel to consistently maintain your mental field. So I want you to answer that question. How will it feel to consistently maintain your mental field using the 4 in the morning, the 4 at night? Here's an example. I wake up, I say, thank you, God, for another day. I make my bed. I go and do like the little lymphatic jumps or whatever to kind of wake my body up and be grateful for movement and for my body working. And then I listen to my audios of me saying, I am this, I am that, this is me. I usually do some mirror work as well, but if we're saying 4, nighttime routine example, turn off my phone at a certain time or put on do not disturb, right? Because, we all don't necessarily want to have a phone off, but if we can have it away, do that, right? I love to take like a deep soak or something at the end of every night. So getting in a bath, relaxing myself. I like to read before I go to bed. So I pull out a book. Right now, I'm reading You Can Have It All by Mary Kay. And then the last one is, I say my prayers before I go to bed. I thank God for the day and I kind of go over gratitude things like, thank you for this. Thank you for that. I'm so grateful for this. So again, 4 and 4, that's 8 things that we're doing, that we're intentionally doing to maintain and take care of our mind field. Do you think you could do that? The answer is yes. You can do that. This is something you have full capability of. This is something that you have full control over. Nothing that I said here has anything to do with anybody else but you. You and you. And I pray that you take responsibility for you, because here's the truth. I am you, just wrapped up in me. And you are me, just wrapped up in you. So when you take care of yourself, we're all taken care of. Because again, you and I are the same. And when you can maintain your mind field, what I say doesn't affect your mind field. It doesn't cause you anything because you cultivate it and take care of your mind space. So excited that you've been here. Again, I am Jessica A. Ross, Mrs. Jam Good, your transformational facilitator. And I am just so very grateful that you and I have had the opportunity to hang out. We have gone through the idea of cultivating your mind field. This is a happiness activation. Hopefully, I've given you tips, tricks, tools, and some practical things to really ignite your own intentional cultivation of that fertile ground that you've been given in your mind. I would love for you to comment down below a final word. What one word will describe how you feel after this workshop? I would love that. Share that with our community. And I truly believe that if you can take the journal prompts, the activation ideas, and really use them, and for the next 7 days, just pick one caretaker habit that you can now intentionally use to cultivate your mind field. This is going to change your life forever. And I am so very grateful to be a part of it. Again, I am Jessica A. Ross, Mrs. Jam Good, and this has been a happiness activation, cultivating your mind field. I look forward to seeing you soon. This has been such an amazing opportunity because, again, I know that we all have the mental power to think for ourselves, to move for ourselves, to do for ourselves, but it sometimes takes time. It takes a reminder that your mind is whose mind is it? Yes. So remember that. And also remember that life is so jam good, and so are you. Thank you so much for being here. Please make sure you go to www.jamgoodliving.com if you have anything else that you would like from me. I have multiple courses, classes, products, and other things to really help facilitate the transformation from you then to you who you'd like to be. You are tremendously loved and cared for. I'll see you soon.